No, thank you. Welcome to the Amud Yomi Shiur. Makkos. We're giving Makkos. Yudalad Amud Beis Shiur Latzlochot Klal Yisrael לרפואת פנינה חיה בס גאול האוכל אסתפור בס שושנה מלכו ולעילוי נשמת הן ירא שבס ולכונו יצחק מנחם בן עקיבא עילוי נשמת the people who died yesterday לא עלינו soldiers שומר ביטחון השם ישמו. This should stop very quickly. What? I know, that's what I'm talking about. What? Also. No, that was avoided. It was a nace in Tel Aviv, Baruch Hashem. A pigua was... No, he was the terrorist himself. No. Yes, he blew... Yeah. He blew up himself. He blew himself up, the terrorist. Yeah. Weiter. Okay. Okay, weiter. The entrance is through there. Weiter. Yeah. Resh Lakish. Yalla, let's go. There are people waiting online. Resh Lakish. Frekt is, yeah, it's a question of the Gemara. Now, what did we say yesterday? Rabbi Yochanan and Resh Lakish have an argument regarding how do you know that a person is not allowed to eat kodshim betuma, right? How do you know that a person who's tome is not allowed to chap a piece of shlomim and eat it? How do you know it's also machlokes? What's machlokes? Rabbi Yochanan learned it gzera shova to mosor. Just like we know you cannot enter Beis Hamikdash betuma, and if you do, you get kores. By the way, we're talking about the azhara, not about the punishment, the warning. Just like there's a warning regarding entering the mikdash while you're tameh, so too it says tumosoi in the pasuk that talks about in Pashas Tzav that talks about eating kodshim, eating kodesh. It means which kodesh? It means kodshim. Don't eat kodshim betuma. Tumosoi. Very nice. Now another one. Another opinion of Rosh Lakish. What does Rosh Lakish say? Rosh Lakish says we learn it from the pasuk that talks about a woman after birth. Bechol kodesh lo tiga ve'lemikdash lo tovoi. She should not touch kodshim. Says Rosh Lakish, as we're going to see soon. Here, touching doesn't mean touching; it means eating. She shall not eat kodshim because she's tome. That's his source. Very nice. What would Rabbi Yochanan do? Kol kodesh lo tiga. What does Rabbi Yochanan learn from that? You can see it in the chart if you want. He says that talks about terumah. Yeah, that kodesh means terumah. Do not eat terumah when you're tomeh. How does Rosh Lakish know not to eat terumah betuma? Says Rosh Lakish, ish mizer Aaron v'utzaroa uzav, which means there's another pasuk. Yeah, that's another pasuk, and that's in Parshas Nesoi. There it says anybody from the children of Aaron, meaning anyone that can eat terumah, that's all the children, girls and boys of Aaron, they should not eat terumah betuma. According to Rabbi Yochanan, we have two psukim for the same thing. Says Rabbi Yochanan, we have two psukim regarding terumah. One, not to touch terumah when you're tomeh. B'chol kodesh lo tiga means tiga, lagat, negia. She shouldn't touch when she's tomeh the terumah. Plus, she should not eat the terumah when she's tomeh, he or she, and that's from Ishish Mizer Aaron. So, lemaisa, but so far the halachic nafkamina is that according to Rabbi Yochanan, there is according to Rabbi Yochanan, there's a prohibition to eat terumah betuma and to touch terumah betuma. Lo tiga. According to Resh Lakish, there is no prohibition of touching terumah betuma. According to Resh Lakish, elo mai, just the eating. Yeah. And everyone agrees that to eat kodshim is definitely also betuma. Funnily enough, comes something very ironic over here. Why? Because according to Rabbi Yochanan, terumah, which is always less than kodshim, you're not allowed to touch when you are tomeh. And when it comes to kodshim, you are allowed to. At least mikadin. Interesting. Yeah. Good? Not good? Yeah. No, they're separate isurim. As we said yesterday, other people can feed it into you. That's not called touching. Inside the mouth is not. It's called Beis Hastorim. It's not called touching. Weiter. Okay. Weiter in the Gemara. Okay. Bam. Frekt the Gemara. V'Reish Lakish. More or less in the middle of the wide lines. V'Reish Lakish. Yeah. Hi b'chol kodesh lo tiga la'ach yuda also. Yeah. Are you telling me that the word b'chol kodesh lo tiga? Look in your charts. What's b'chol kodesh lo tiga according to Resh Lakish? It's coming to tell me not to eat kodshim when you are tome? La'achid are you sure? Is that what it's coming to tell me? Haomi baile, that apparently is used for something else. Letome shenoga b'kodesh. If a tome person touched kodesh, yeah, what did we say? According to Rabbi Yochanan, we didn't see an Isser. Neither did we see according to Reish Lakish so far. All of a sudden, we're going to see something different. The Itma, yeah, we'll see it in the Brais, in the Memre. Tome shenoga b'kodesh. A person who's tome, for whichever reason, he touched korban, kochim, zvochim. Reish Lakish oimer loike, says Reish Lakish is loike. Is loike for touching kochim. Touching terumah is not mitamiyu. But if you touch kochim, you are betuma, you are loike. How do you know that? Yeah, we're going to see the source very soon. Rabbi Yochanan oimer ein loike. Rabbi Yochanan says you're not loike, you don't get malchus. That's what I said before, the irony. According to Rabbi Yochanan, on terumah you're loike, on kochim you don't. But now what is the source? Reish Lakish oimer loike b'chol kodesh loitiga. Oh, listen to this. Says Reish Lakish, if a person touches the kochim, the zvochim, the korbanos, betuma, b'chol kodesh loitiga, this is the source not to touch korbanos when you are tome. Aha. And what's the source? B'chol kodesh loitiga. I thought that was taken. Right? If you look at the chart, Rabbi Reish Lakish is using the same posuk for two things. And that's strange. And that's a question on Reish Lakish. How can you use the same chad pami twice? Rabbi Yochanan argues and says, Chad pami in a holy way. Rabbi Yochanan oimer, ein loike. No. Rabbi Yochanan says, no. B'chol kodesh loitiga is not telling me that the person who touched korbanos is loike. He's not loike. Ahu azhar letruma also. This is azhar for terumah. What does mean azhar letruma? As we said before, Rabbi Yochanan is consistent. Kodesh doesn't always mean kochim. It means terumah sometimes. Yeah, as we see many times, because terumah is relatively kodesh. It's telling you that a woman or man, tome, should not touch terumah. Nothing to do with Beis Hamikdash. You have a friend in Afula. He's a Kohen, okay? You go to his house. You happen to be Tommy. You touched a dead mouse a minute ago. You washed your hands. Doesn't help for Tahara. And you touch the grapes of the Terumah. Also, the Tznisar Doraisa says Rabbi Yochanan. Yeah? But Lamaise, Tommy, Shenoga Bekoidesh, according to, what's the question? According to Reish Lakish, Tommy Shenoga Bekoidesh, yeah? You learn it from where? From Bechol Kodesh Lotiga. I thought Bechol Kodesh Loitiga, according to Reish Lakish, is telling me something else, right? Yeah, it's telling me not to eat, not to touch. In other words, there are two Isurim competing for the same posuk. Yeah, they're competing. According to Reish Lakish, touching kochim and eating kochim, betuma. Which one's the right one? Reish Lakish is the l'chora exceeding himself. Answers the Gemara, Baruch Hashem. Thomas Shenoga Bekoidesh, I'll tell you, we can learn both very peacefully and nicely. Thomas Shenoga Bekoidesh, a Tome who touched Koidesh, with the Apke Rachmona Bilshon Negia. First of all, say Reish Lakish, listen, Rabbi Sai, I can't ignore the Poshup Pshat. What does the Posuk say? Bechol Kodesh Loi Tiga. She shouldn't touch the Kodesh. Yeah, and therefore it means Kepshutoi. Remember Shabbos Samech Gimel, and Mikroetim Midei Pshutoi. It does mean not to touch the Kochim. Even touching, look, with your little pinky. Yeah, you touch the kochim while you're tome. Isol doraisa malchus. Elamai. Hi. But he said that means eating also. Zog the Gemara azhoro. Yeah. There is a, let's just add the word here of the Bach. Yeah. The azhoro the oichel, just a vav. The azhoro lo oichel is iskush kodesh lamikdash, which means. Now, why did Reish Lakish say there's an additional issue to also eat the kochim when you're tome? It doesn't say that. It says she shouldn't touch. Maybe eating no hands, eating like that. Maybe that's allowed. No. How many times can people here ask the same question? I fed my father in the old age home. He's your soon. It was one of the most interesting things in my life. I fed him. Okay, it didn't touch it. Thank you. Let's continue. People can eat without touching. Shkoyach. So now, what's going on now? The question is, how can you learn from Negia to Achila? Zog the Gemara. If you look at the full pasuk, the pasuk says two things. V'chol kodesh lo tiga, ve'lamikdash lo tovoy. The pasuk, as you say in English, juxtaposes makish, eating kochim or whatever, doing something with kochim, eating or touching kochim, comparing it to what? To entering the mikdash while tome. Now, entering the mikdash when you're tome, is that an isur koros or no? Yes. Aha. Now, one thing you should all know, touching kochim betuma or terumah or anything is not chorus. Everyone agrees to that. Loi matzani, we didn't find at the end, at the consequences part, the punishment list, does not say that if you touched anything betuma, you will get chorus. Dr. Shlakish, aha. Because the Torah, although the Torah says negia, but because the Torah compares it to entering Beis Hamikdash, just like entering Beis Hamikdash carries with it oynish kores, so too that thing, that X in the formula also carries with it kores, and it cannot be touching, because touching there is no kores. You can look high and low. The krisis are all written. Remember the beginning of the sugya? The punishments are written clearly. There's no questions about them. The question is about the azhoro of eating kochim betuma. Since we know that it's compared to entering Beis Hamikdash betuma, which is an intizel kores, must be the negia also means eating or eating with no hands. Eating with no hands. Why? Because eating we know is a chiyuv kores, and therefore yes, in this musical chairs you can have two isurim derived from the same pasuk. On one hand, the Torah is like playing games with us, kivyochol, hinting both ways. Mitzad echad loshen, when you read the pasuk, when you're listening to Kriyas Torah in Parshas Tazria at the beginning, loitiga, you shouldn't touch. I bet you the article English probably say touch, and they're right. But there's a hidden message. The Torah says, you know that touching? It's really comparable, wink, wink on the side. It's really comparable to what? To entering Beis Hamikdash, because it says, which means what? It's comparable to something which is nisal kores, entering Beis Hamikdash. So must be this touching is touching, inverted commas, which is kores. Which touching is kores? Eating. So therefore, Reish Lakish does learn two isurim from one pasuk: touching kochim betuma and eating kochim betuma, because of the loshain plus the hekesh. That's how Reish Lakish works very nicely. By the way, many Rishonim here, Reish Lakish here is so far. I'm going to see a Braisa like him, and some Rishonim Paskin here like Reish Lakish. One of the rare cases that he reasons against Rabbi Yochanan. I promise you I'll listen to you in a second. And 1 second. Yeah, no, you can ask questions now actually. Yes. I have a much better answer for all of you. Much better answer. Much more lomdish answer, and not balabatish. Lamdonim like you deserve that. And that is, if a person, let's talk about a person who eats it normally, right? First of all, most people in the Western world eat most of the things with a fork, even Israelis, yeah? So if you eat with a fork, I'm not sure it's metam. Yeah? The fork is already clean. That's first. Secondly, 1 second. What about a person took the piece of, I don't know, grapes, you eat with your hands, and you ate them? No, so many isurim are there? 1 or 2? Two. No, so there you are. So that's where you have to write it. Touching is an isur. Boom, that's one bad point upstairs. Secondly, and you eat it, that's another bad one. Finished. And if they're not chorus, that's why I'm not saying it. If there would be chorus, it would be 2 chatois, but that I'm not saying, because touching is not chorus, only eating. That's it, 2 isurim. Pashut. You touch the grapes, you ate them, 2 isurim. In the Shemaim, you have 2 averos. Finished. And what about Malchus? 2 sets of Malchus. If Negia is something that brings you Malchus, then you have 2 sets of Malchus. That's not 39. It's 39 times 2, which is a lot of Malchus. 39 times 2 is. Of course, 70. I know. Yeah.
Isn't eating a form of touching in any event?
I don't think eat inside the mouth. I don't think it's called touching halachically. No, I don't think so. Basic story, I think, is not touching. And even if yes, I answered you already. Lomdishli. Even if yes, even if every eating is achila, is negia, then you have 2 isurim. You touching and eating. You have 2 sets of malchus. Ouch! That's 39 times 2, 78. You say okay, good, 78. Weiter. Frek the Gemore. Another question. The akati still lachyu also. Is this what it's coming to tell me? Is the pasuk b'chol kodesh lotiga coming to tell me that if a person eats kodshim tuma, it's also there's an isur doraisa and another isur. We said what just now? A new one born, an isur is born to touch the kodshim is also isur according to Rish Lakish. Is that so? We have another one. Haumi baile. We need this pasuk for something else, not very different, but another detail. Letomish she'ochel b'sar kodesh lifnei zrikas domim. Interesting. What happens if a person ate the kodesh while tome? He's tome. He's a kohen in Beis Hamikdash. He's tome. He's not allowed to be there anyways. Lo mshaneh. And he eats the kodesh, the flesh, the piece of flesh of meat, before the blood was given on the mizbeach. Let me explain what's going on over here. As I told you many, many times, and I will say again, the most crucial, important, pivotal point in the life of a korban, life post shchita, is what? The most important part of a korban is zrikas adam. I'm surrounded by elderly and young scholars. In other words, the zrikas adam is the point in which lots of things happen. Let's say you turn on the light on Shabbos. Oh, it's Shabbos. You have to bring a korban. At what point can you make a sigh of relief? Hashem forgave me. I did it. But it's Rika. There's still lots of things to do, right? You still have to, let's say, bechatas, take out the imurim, schlep them all the way up to Mizbech, do haktorah, burn it. That's important, very important. But it's not me'akev. You can tick the box once it was Rika Saddam. That's some general knowledge. Now, what about something that you eat, such as chatas? Let's say a kohen wants to eat his share of chatas. He's allowed to eat chatas. It's even a mitzvah. Is a male what? A chatas. Ches tes aleph taf. Yeah. He wants to eat the chatas in Beis Hamikdash, supposed to, but he wants to eat it before the dam was spilled. Now was spilled. Yeah. The chatas is not spilled. It's given with a finger. Lo meshane. Now that's a terrible isser. Why? Zrika Saddam is also the matir. Matir means the point in which the mizbeach is allowed to eat the korban, meaning burnt on the fire, and then the people, in case of chatas and osham, are allowed to eat. It's a mitzvah to eat the flesh. Is also after Zrika Saddam. Once it was Zrika Saddam, then the party begins, and then there is the mizbeach eating its part, consuming, and then the people. Now, if a person, even a kohen, ate the korban part before Zrika Saddam, that's a big avera, big love. Okay? Now, lav lamed aleph vav, not Love. Love, yeah. So now, what happens if a tome ate before the Zrika Saddam? Well, even his brethren, the Kohanim, the pure Kohanim, are not allowed to eat it either. Does the Isra apply then? Or do we say, no, it's like one big balagan? Like you anyhow not allowed to eat it, yeah? You're not allowed to eat it even if you're a tahor. So the fact I'm tome, what difference does it make? Can a tome person eat lav? A very bad example. It's a very bad example, but I'm still saying it. If a tome person eats chazir, who cares? Nobody's allowed to eat chazir, yeah? Who cares already? So there was a tzad to say, as we'll see soon, a person who's a tome, who's eating kochim, premature kochim before the stage came, before the matir came, who says that's b'chlal and isser, right? Comes the Shlakish and tells you, Tom the Itmar, listen now to the Meimre, Tom shochal b'sar kodesh, lifnei zrikas domim. Oh, he ate it when nobody else is supposed to eat it. So he's not singled out. You, Tommy, you ate the kochim before. Nobody's allowed to eat the kochim before the zrika. Achila doesn't apply to them. It's inedible halachically anyways. Rish Lakish says, yes, you are loike still. There's still a specific additional isur, double trouble. You ate it before the zrika and your tome, naughty boy. You're loike on that too. Rabbi Yochanan Omer ain't a loike. Rabbi Yochanan says, no, it's not loike. I mean, there's an isur to eat it before the zrika. But Rabbi Yochanan says, the fact you're tome, that is not an offense against you. That's not an offense to tuma. And soon Rabbi Yochanan will explain why. Rish Lakish Omer loike. Rish Lakish says, why is it that a person tome who ate the kochim when nobody's allowed to eat them, how do you know that he's loike? You know which pasuk is using? B'chol kodesh lo tiga. Oh my gosh, what? That's a pasuk. How many things can we learn from one pasuk? B'chol kodesh lo tiga. We learn how many things we learned from it so far? Zwei Sachen. We learn kol kodesh lo tiga. Don't eat kochim stam, which means possibly after tuma, and also don't touch the kochim b'tuma. Now you're learning a third. And now, loishna lifnei zrika, v'loishna la'achar zrika. Rish Lakish says, b'chol kodesh lo tiga. The Ritva says something very shane over here. The Ritva says something very nice. Tiga means don't eat them even in a stage where other people are only allowed to touch them, not to eat them. The people. Loitiga means it's like Neres Chanukah, Liroisam Bilvad. The flesh, the meat before the Zrika, what do the Kohanim do with it? Nothing. They can touch it, but they're not allowed to eat it. Loitiga means don't eat it in that stage when it's only touchable and not edible. Azoi. Yeah? Okay, but it's still shver. How many things can you learn from one thing? Or, according to the Ritva, the question is, Loitiga is used up to tell me the early stage. Not Loitiga is touching. Loitiga when it's touchable. So the pasuk has too many things going on here. Rabbi Yochanan Oimer and Aloike. Rabbi Yochanan says no, he's not. He's a very very bad avera that he ate it before the zrika. He ate it, It's like you tell your kid not to eat the snack. Lavdil, don't eat the snack and throw the paper before we get to the cashier in the supermarket. Ever happened to you? Right? Just keep it intact. Yeah, please. Okay. So lahavdil. Yeah, says Rabbi Yochanan, that's bad, but you're not like if eating it betuma. Now, before we answer the question on Rish Lakish, let's first explain Rabbi Yochanan, and then we'll answer Rish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan the time. Rabbi Yochanan is consistent. Why? The Omer called tumosoi. Remember Rabbi Yochanan? You can see it in your charts. I did it this morning. Tumosoi. How does Rabbi Yochanan know a person is not allowed to eat kodshim betuma? Tumosoi, gzera shovo. V'chiksiv tumosoi lachaz riko dechtiv. That pasuk of Tumosoi, one of them that talks about eating kochim, specifically talks about the matzav la'achar zrika. So Rabbi Yochanan says, listen, what can I do? I am just quoting Gzer Shova. The Gzer Shova uses up a pasuk, is employing a pasuk that tells you what? A pasuk that talks about la'achar zrika. Look in Parashat Tzav. It says la'achar zrika. Mimela, very good. That's all I know. Before zrika, I have no source to answer it. But on Rish Lakish is the question. Rish Lakish, the question remains. Excuse me, Rish Lakish. How many things you can learn from one pasuk? Answers the Gemara, Zer Shein. Hahi mi bechol kol kodesh nafka. The word kol, what does kol mean in English? Give me some translations for the word kol. Ellen, what's kol? What's kol in English? Every, any, all. Very good. Each. Very good, Ellen. Kol means every. It's an inclusive word. Every person, every child, everything, and every situation. Every situation. Kol kodesh loitiga. So again, loitiga, touching means, hey, don't touch. The fact that we compared it at the end of the pasuk, entering Beis Hamikdash, and eating means it's eating because both are chorus. And kol, the word all, every, the inclusive word comes to include even the situation, the premature situation before the Zrika's dam, that too is also Mazel Tov. Rish Lakish is doing great. Give me a minute and read the Brisa. Tani kavos Rish Lakish, a Brisa that supports Rish Lakish and makes the Rishonim, some of them follow Rish Lakish. Usually Rish Lakish Rabbi Yochanan loch is like Rabbi Yochanan. Here, the Ritva, the Rambam hold the loch is like Rish Lakish. Tani kavos Rish Lakish, a Brisa that supports Rish Lakish, and by the way, that's the end of the sugya. It says b'chol kodesh lo tiga azhara leoichel. As we see, look in the Gemara, look in the chart, look everywhere. B'chol kodesh lotiga is a warning to somebody who eats what? Kodshim betuma. Maybe it's only coming to tell me don't touch the kodshim betuma, but maybe eating is okay. Or to appease you guys with your question, let's say the guy eats the kochim, touches the kochim with his hand and he eats them. Maybe there's only one Easter. Maybe there's no Easter on eating. Maybe just on touching. Maybe eating is I'm going now with you guys. If I touched it already, I'm over an Easter. If I ate it later, it doesn't make a difference. I'm already, who cares? I ate it, didn't eat it. Maybe the touching, the first touch, the negiah, that's Easter. Maybe there's no Easter b'chlal on eating. That's already showing nishtarish b'chet. Yeah, no, good question. Talmud loymar b'chol kodesh loitiga ve'el hamikdash loisovoi. We see makish kodesh lamikdash. The Torah compares and places together. It's called in English hekesh. Yeah, it's called hekesh. Juxtaposition. We compare what mikdash lekodesh. eating, or whatever you call the negia, to entering Beis Hamikdash. Ma mikdash dovel sheish bo netilas neshama, just like entering Beis Hamikdash, velo kodesh lo tovoi, and we know clearly that what's netilas neshama kores. We know that if a person goes into Beis Hamikdash and he's tome, and he knows it, b'meizit, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take away his neshama early, lo aleinu, and in olam haba he'll be really stuck. His neshama will be cut off. I've called double shesh benatilas neshama. Aha. So too, that negia is only a negia which also grants you the oinesh kos natilas neshama. Vibe negia. You're insisting we're talking about negia here. Mika natilas neshama ela b'achila. By negia there is no natilas neshama. It's everything the Gemara says I told you before. If that variable, that mysterious negia, really means just negia, doesn't work right. Why? Because you can't say the negia is comparable to entering Beis Hamikdash. Entering Beis Hamikdash is bekores, and touching kochim, even if it's also, and it is also, it's not kores. It's not kores. Yeah, I challenge you. Go to you know where it's very very easy to find all the different krisus. Beginning of Maseches Krisus, so cute. Beis Amud Aleph, first Mishnah in Krisus, give you a list of 36, blah, 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 all the incest and all this and all the food and all the Yom Kippur, v'chulei. Rotzach is not mentioned there. Murder is not chorus, for example. Interesting. Yeah. Bekitzer, therefore, proves Rish Lakish very nicely, proves the Braise, which supports Rish Lakish, that pasuk that seems so innocent and is telling me Negia, there's a hidden message. Besides Negia, there's another layer of Isser of Achila, because we know that Achila b'di'evid is Chayav Kores. That's Mefurish. Right? So since I know both eating kochim and entering Beis Hamikdash are both kores, must be the prohibition. Loitiga talks about achilas kochim. This is how Shlakish is learning. The Seder, so that's it. So that's Machlokas Shlakish Rabbi Yochanan. We can make a quick summary and then continue to the next sugya. Or if you want to ask a question, Ellen, yes, no, you okay? Question time and tea time. I'm gonna have my tea now. Me. Short summary. Are you allowed, according to both Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan, are you allowed to eat kodshim while you're tome or enter Beis Hamikdash when you're tome? No. If you ate kodshim while tome or enter Beis Hamikdash while tome, what will happen to you? Hashem give you a big prize? What? Trip to Japan? Chorus. Oh, we know that. We're all happy. Very nice. They learn it from different sources. Because there are extra sources to each direction, came out the issue of negia. Negia, meaning what? According to Rabbi Yochanan, there was an extra pasuk to teach me that touching terumah is also. It's not kos, it's also. According to Rish Lakish, the pasuk b'chol kodesh lotiga is a very active, vibrant pasuk. It teaches me not to touch kochim. Setu. Rabbi said, that's it. That's Mechlokes bottom line. In the chart, I wrote NA, right? Meaning what? Yeah. According to one opinion, this is not applicable to the other one. That's all. According to Shlakish, you're not allowed to eat, to touch kodshim betuma. You're allowed to touch terumah betuma. According to Rabbi Yochanan, the other way. Rabbi Yochanan is interesting. Rabbi Yochanan says you're not allowed to touch terumah when you're tome. You're allowed to touch kodshim betuma. Come on, easier. I don't know about all this. Some Rishonim Paskin and some of the things of the Shlakish. Yeah. Yes. No, we've seen more. Yeah. But yeah. I can continue. Yeah, let's go. We're a little bit behind, and I don't know about tomorrow. So okay. Now there's a new topic. Meaning obviously to the Makkos, but let's now go into the new thing. Which means, says Rabbi Bachan b'shem Rabbi Yochanan. Before we continue, what did we see in this Baruch Hashem very nice year we had here in the Rambam? What's lav hanitakla say, and what role does it play in our sugya? Lav hanitakla say means the Torah says don't do this and that, and if you did, you can remedy it, you can fix it in a different way. Classical example. Let's leave shiluach haken now. I got confused there in Rambam with shiluach haken. Let's make the simple example which is mentioned many times. Noiso, you're not allowed to leave. Yeah, your mommy told you not to leave the food on the plate, but finish it up. Nice. a good Yiddish mame. Lehavdil elf of avdolos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvod ba'atzmo told the Kohanim and Israelim for their korbanos, you're not allowed to leave on purpose the meat of the korban, over time. A regular korban is eaten, let's say, till the morning after. Korban chatas, eaten by Kohanim. Chatas brought 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, till when are you supposed to eat it? You can start eating it after Zrikas Sadam and Aktorah. You eat. Until when? Until the evening and beyond. Until Chatzos, Midoraisa, till the morning. What happens the morning after? Bad news. If you left the noiso the morning after, you over nisa doraisa loisasiru mimenu ad boiker. Don't leave the meat for no reason, or you have to have a very, very good reason to have nisa doraisa. Yeah, you should eat it. Make sure it's all consumed, all eaten up before the morning after. Before I don't know, it's alois, probably alois. Till the morning after, you're supposed to finish. Vanoisel mimenu. Let's say there is leftover, unfortunately. Don't worry, there's a solution. There's a mitzvah to say. If you failed and you broke the law, you're a naughty boy maybe, but you have a remedy called burn it. Make a nice lag ba'omer kind of thing, and burn the leftover korban in the fire. That's a classical, beautiful, good boy, poster boy of lav hanita klase, lav that is remedied by an assay. On such a lav, you don't get malchus. Again, there are details, which then in the Rambam I wasn't sure about, that we'll discuss later. But conceptually, the Torah says, no, you don't get malchus, because there's another way out. There's another solution. Just burn it. Let's say, just do it, just burn it, and then all will be well. Okay? If in Shamayim, if you got a bad point or not, Veisach nicht, I don't know. Lamaisa remedied it up to a point that malchus he doesn't deserve. That's before the Gemara, by the way. This was an introduction. Zokt Rabba bar bar Chana, quoting Rabbi Yochanan, now, there is another kind of, shall I call it, a twisted lavanita klase. Sometimes the Torah tells you, do so and don't do so, and don't do the other way. Sometimes the assay precedes the lav. And such a thing loikin olav. By lavanita klase and loikin olav. But if the Torah tells me to do what I should do, right? And then tells me, and don't do the other way, please do bring me tea. Thank you. And please don't bring me coffee, or don't delay the tea. Let's say the do is before the don't, then loikin olav. If you broke the assay, you ignored the assay, you broke the lav, even though later you did the assay, too late. You loikin olav. And we're going to see examples. Everything will be, this is just what the Gemara says. Okay. Now remember the names. Very important to remember the names. Rabba bar bar Chana quoted Rabbi Yochanan. Amruloi, they told Rabba bar bar Chana, Amarta? Did you really say that, Rabba bar bar Chana? Loi, I never said that. Meaning, Rabba bar bar Chana regretted what he said. Rabba bar bar Chana, soon we're going to see why. Rabba bar bar Chana said what he said, and then he wanted to bite his tongue and take back his words. I take it back. No, I never really said such a thing. Meaning, I regret what I said. Omar Rabba, everything will be explained why yes or no. We're just describing the Amoraic discussion as they spoke between themselves, and then we'll see the why and what's behind the scenes. Omar Rabba, says Rabba very strongly, Ha'elokim, I swear by Hashem. Omar, he did say it, and he was right. No, I think what he said before was the right thing. V'ksiva v'tnina, and it's written in the Torah, and it's written in the Mishnah, that such a case of an assay that precedes its brother love, what about that? You do get malchus. It's not a typical Avnita klase. Where is it? Where is it written? Where's the pasuk? Where's the Mishnah? Rabba, Ksiva, Vayishalchu Nimanachane. We saw this pasuk before. It says in the Torah in Parshas Nesoi, Vayishalchu Nimanachane kol tzarua v'chol za v'chol tomer lenefesh, and then it says V'lo yitamu es machaneim. This pasuk is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, but obviously the whole of Klal Yisrael, it's telling Bnei Yisrael, you should send away. Yishalchu, in nice English, it's called sending away. Send away from the machane, from the camp, any kind of Tommy person. And here, Ellen, there is a difference, as I told you before. No Tmeim can be in Beis HaMikdash, or let's talk about nowadays, about Beis HaMikdash. Now, in Harabayis, which is called Machne Levia, the Tmei Mesim are allowed to be there, but the Nida, Zava, Yoledes, they're not allowed to be there, Kol Sheken Mitzoyra. And in Machne, so they should go to the regular Yerushalayim, where people live outside Harabayis. And in Yerushalayim, Machne Israel, everyone can be there. Which Mitzvah is sent away from everywhere? Mitzvah. That's a Torah that's sent away. But the Ma'aseh Tmeim are definitely no shape or form. Men, women, children, all Tmeim are not allowed to be egalitarianly so, not allowed to be inside Beis Hamikdash B'tumah. But how is it written again? Excuse me. Listen to the chronology of the psukim. Vayishalchu min ha'machaneh. First, there's the mitzvah to say, send them away, and then it says, "V'lo yitamu es machaneim." Don't defile, don't impure the machaneh by being there. So when you are a Tomei yourself and you realize, "Oh, I'm Tomei. Hey, Shimon, I didn't go to the mikveh yesterday." You should quickly zoom out of there. Yeah, you should sprint out of Beis Hamikdash. Mikayim elav v'shalchu mitzvah saseh v'shalchu nemachaneh v'lo yitamu es machaneim. And there's a loitase that followed the aseh, mamish what we're talking about, right? Aseh followed, but it's equivalent lotase, and this is written in the Torah. And you're telling me there is no Malkus? There is Malkus. Look, Tanina, we learned in the Mishnah what we just learned now for the past few days. Haba lemikdash tomeh is what? Gets Malkus. Whoever goes to the mikdash while tomeh deserves Malkus. No, Sirsi Mefurish. Why are you regretting what you said? Rabbi Babachana, you should stand proud and tall and staunch and stick by what you said. You said very well. Why are you regretting what you said? Adrabah. We see that although there was a pasuk before there was an assay, then there's a lav, and the person who stayed in Beis Hamikdash and says, "I don't care. I'm staying here, just too nice and holy over here. I don't care that I touched the sheretz an hour ago." What do you do to him? Lashes. No. So you see, we're right. You see, it's not a typical avanita class A, but an assay first, then the lav. If that's the order, then you do chap malchus. Ela frag the Gemara, the obvious question, my time a so really, why did he regret what he said? Why did Rabbi Barchana, kivyochol, we don't understand in our small minds, Kilo got cold feet? Why? Why did Rabbi Barchana change his mind and did not follow the rule of B'Shem Rabbi Yochanan, of that if there's an assay followed by its equivalent lota assay, but the remedial lota assay, then we say that, no, I never said that there's loike. Why? The Mishnah says he's loike. Zog the Gemara, now he regretted what he said because there's a problem from oines. Mishum de Kashele, he had difficulty. Rabbi Babachana, had a shaila on his own teaching from Rabbi Yochanan. Oines. Oh, what's the punishment for an oines? Whoever does know that's a rapist. The Tanya, a man lo aleinu raped a single girl, and the Tanya, what does he have to do? He has to pay her big money. Now there is another. No, if she's above bas mitzvah, he pays her. If above 12 and a half, he pays her. She didn't want, she wasn't moichel. You told mefate, what you're saying is mefate. No, she didn't want doing it, so he has to pay 5 teshlumin plus stam the 100, 50, sorry, 50. The Tanya. But what's the other story? If she wants, funnily enough, I know people find it hard to relate to, if she wants to marry him, because she says nobody else would marry him except for, and you're generally a nice guy, except for when you chapi or mishigas, so therefore she wants to marry him. He can be forced into the marriage. Is there forced marriage in Judaism? Yes, to the men. Yeah, he's forced to marry her, and then what? And then he cannot divorce her his entire life. He's not allowed to divorce her. She'll make his life misery the whole life. Maybe that's her nekoma. And what? He cannot divorce her. And what does it say there? It says in the pasuk. Now listen to the order of the psukim. The Rashi brings them down. We'll see it, by the way, in a few weeks' time. We'll see it in the Torah, in Shiur Torah. V'lo tiheh leisha. You hear that? That's positive. She should be his wife. He has a mitzvah to marry her, whether he likes it or not. Lo yuchal l'shalcha. Got that? He should marry her. He shall not. Lo taseh. He's over allowed if he divorces her. He's not allowed to divorce her. Again, the Torah here again puts the cart before the horses. You should do that. You should marry for life and not divorce ever. Okay.
Does that mean that he could?
He could not. Not. He's not allowed. He's supposed to marry her. He goes to the chuppah with a sad face and he marries her, and then he's not allowed to divorce her the whole life. Wait. Now, the Tanya. You asking what's in for our case? You'll see now. The Tanya. Oines Shagiresh, he did. Let's say the Oines he did Gerushin. He says, I've had it, can't take it anymore. Im Israel who machzir ben Eloike. You hear that? If he's a Israelim are allowed to marry Grushas. What should he do? Bring her back. It's always, I say remediable, revocable, no remediable, there's a better word. Correctable, look at something, correctable, revocable. Yeah, it's correctable. You divorced her, bring her back. Sorry. Vena loike, you don't get malchus. In koinu, if he's a Kohen cannot bring back his grusha, can't marry grusha. Loike, that Kohen will chop 39 lashes. Maybe he's worth it for him. Vena machzir, and he doesn't bring her back. He chop 39, gendict. Now, because he broke a law of a divorcee, of a rapist who divorces his wife, is like, wait, a Kohen is a different story. Kohanim have their Isurim. But the Gemara says, wait. Can you repeat that? Says the Gemara. Im Yisrael machzir ben Eloike. Amai. What did you say? If Israel, and we're talking here about exactly this very unique type of Isurim that we're talking about now, what? Asay, do marry her and don't divorce her. And what did we see? Im Yisrael machzir ben Eloike. We see that he does not chap the malchus. Right? Just give her back. It's remediable. It's correctable. Bring her back and don't get malchus. Amai. Why is that? That was Rabbi Babachana's problem. You see that just like by the case of the guy, the Tom in Beis Hamikdash, we see the Lo Ta'aseh that was preceded by an Aseh. There's an Aseh followed by Lo Ta'aseh. You see that he's not loike. And here in Beis Hamikdash, and in the rule, we say he's loike. Says Rabbi Babachana, I take back what I said. I see my rule is not true. Because when it comes to the oines, the rule is not true. We see it's a regular lavanita klase. Instead of giving him lashes, we tell him, gesundheit, do the good thing, bring her back. Bekitzer lemaise, it's also simple, the question. It's all, the whole way the Gemara started is kilo through the back door. But lemaise, it's pashta stira. It's pashat a stira. The stira is between two cases. The case of the guy who's a tome in Beis Hamikdash, and the case of the oines who divorces his wife. Let's repeat the question. Let's revise and summarize. Basically, what's the story? We're talking about a very unique kind of lavanita klase. It's a twisted lavanita klase. First of all, there's an asay, then the love, right? What did we see when it comes to Beis Hamikdash? It says, send away, positively, mitzvah say, send away all the tmeim. Go away, positively. They should get out of Beis Hamikdash, the tmeim, and don't come to Beis Hamikdash, don't defile Beis Hamikdash. And what did we see over there? He gets malchus, he lashes, you stayed in Beis Hamikdash, betuma, boom. Now, by oines, same thing. You should marry her for life. You're a lifer now. You should, you raped her. It was nice. You enjoyed yourself. You twisted guy. Great. You should enjoy her the rest of your life. If she wants it, she's interested. Then what? Do be with her the whole life. And what? And don't divorce her. Same mechanism exactly. Same system. And yet over there we say he's not loike. What do we say? We force him to marry again. We schlepped him to the chasana with the ring. And you say, you do this. The ring. And what? And we don't say he's loike. No. So the poshet, there's a stira. Do we give malchus or don't we give malchus when it comes to an asay followed by love? Life is beautiful. I mean, it's difficult, the question, but the question is there. Zog the Gigmore.
If he has to marry her, because he raped her, and he can't get divorced, how can he remarry her?
No, he divorced her. You not can't get divorced. No, the divorce is applicable. Yeah, I know you're going to ask it. No, the divorce, if he divorced her, the divorce is applicable. Like a Kohen can't marry Grusha, but if he married her, she's his wife. It's like you can eat chazir even though it's not allowed, but the chazir is in your stomach and it nourishes you. In other words, he's not allowed to divorce her, but he did. And the get works. She's divorced. Yeah. Good. And therefore, now he divorced her. What do you do now? Nobody's lashing you. We're against violence. No, he doesn't. He doesn't get malchus. Only a Kohen, because a Kohen can't remarry. But a soil does not get malchus. The question is why. He doesn't get malchus, but it's remedial, it's correctable by doing what? By marrying again. No. So you see that mechanism of asay followed by love, we see that there isn't, the malchus are not there. So make up your mind. So what's going on here? Very pressed for time. The question's 10:30. Omar Ula. Okay, so that's pshat. That's pshat. I'm happy to answer questions in 10 minutes time. Now, Omar Ula says Ula. First of all, I'll tell you, I want to appease you. I want to make you happy now. Clearly, the exception to the rule is the oinus. The rule is really that there is malchus, like we said originally. The norm, the good, the standard is there are malchus. The Gemara will now go into twists and turns, but not difficult ones. The Gemara will try to explain why oinus is an exception to the rule in such a case, and why we say that he does not get malchus if he divorced her. Okay, that's just the way it's going to be. That's the pattern. This is the basis, the foundation for the next answer. Oma Ula says Ula, I'll tell you why oinus is an extra special thing in which there are no malchus. Why? Says Ula like this. You know, lo yoimal, if I would have written the Torah, lo yoimal lo tiheh leisha beoinus. Why does the Torah have to tell me by oinus that she should be his wife forever? I would have figured it out myself. How? Veligma mimoitzi shemra. There's oinus as a friend, you know, also soon in Chumash Devarim. Moitzi shemra. What's moitzi shemra? A guy who told about his wife, his newlywed wife, that she's a zoino, that between the kiddushin and nisuin she had relations with other people, and it came out that he's lying. They found out that he's a liar. So he chaps, much worse. He doesn't pay her 50 shekels, he pays her 100 shekels. You know, that 100 shekels, that's colossal amount of money, seriously, back then, 100 shekels, and he gets malchus, and what? And there's an option of marrying her for life. But Moitzi Shema also, he should stay with her, cannot divorce her. So the Torah could have written that forced eternal marriage by Moitzi Shema, and I would have derived from there into oinus. How would I have derived one to the other? Uma Moitzi Shemra Shloi Osamaise. The Moitzi Shema didn't do anything bad. He spoke, he said, she says, you know what she did behind my back, blah, 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 blah. He didn't do anything active, and yet, and yet the Torah says he should be her husband for life, and she's his wife for life. Oines, lokol sheken, oines, the guy did a maisa, such a violent maisa, kol sheken, he should marry for life. So the whole business here is redundant. The whole mention of marrying for life, loitia leisha, by oines, is one big extra word, right? It's redundant completely. Hey, therefore we're on the roll now. Hey, so why lama neema? So why did the Torah tell me extra superfluous words by oines? Velo loitia leisha lo yuchal leshalcha imenu inyan lefanav ne inyan leachrov shim giresh yachzir imenu lefanav ne inyan leachrov, which means the Torah is telling you extra. It's kilo the whole parsha of oines. You should marry her, not divorce her, is extra. So why did the Torah write it? To tell me extra information. What do you mean extra information? We're all familiar with Enu Inyan. Like I said yesterday, yeah? If you have 5 bags of milk, you only need 4. The 5th one goes to the neighbor. Enu Inyan usually goes, right? If there's a certain detail for one halacha and it's extra, whoop, I'll move it next door to another halacha. Here it's different. Here the movement is within oines. It's as if we change the order of the posuk. Since oinus normally, what does it say in oinus? Do marry, and then it says don't divorce, right? Because the Torah, the whole thing is just one extra information, which I already could have known from Motzei Shemra. Look, the Torah Keilu does that. The Torah changes the order. It's Keilu, it's written, don't divorce her. And if you did divorce her, you should remarry. Very good. And that's exactly what's happening here. Don't divorce her. And if you did, you know what you should do? No malchus. Nobody wants to be violent. Just remarry her. Very good. That whole extra mention of oinus is here to tell me that business, that oinus is unique. And it's different to other aseh before lo ta'aseh. It's kilo lo ta'aseh followed by an aseh. It is remediable. First of all, don't divorce. And you did, so remarry. That's why that's exception to the rule. That's by honest, there's no malchus because it's a regular lav shenita klase, like by the burning of the noisa. Don't leave extra. You left it extra. Nobody's eating you shefale. What's going to be? Just burn it. There is remedy. There is a solution. It's revocable. It's good. Very good. That's why. Later. Now, thank you for your patience. Now, frag the Gemara. Yeah. The Akati says the Gemara, I don't like that shidduch between Oines and Motzi Shemra, right? We said if Motzi Shemra has forced marriage for life, Kol Sheken the Oines. The Akati Oines Motzi Shemra loy gomer. It's not so clear to me, says the Gemara, that you can learn Oines from Motzi Shemra. Why? I could challenge that. I could ask him that. I could ask, Mala Motzi Shemra Sheken loyki u'meshalim. Motzi Shemra is the bad boy in the neighborhood. Motzi Shemra, we already found so many chumras. Motzi Shemra, he gets malchus and he pays. That's against the rule of Kim. Remember Kim? Kim l'drabamine. Yeah, risha achas. Very good. You're telling me here by Motzi Shemra, he's so bad, meaning we're so machmir on him. There's loike umeshalim. By oines, by the way, what happens to a guy who does oines? Does he get malchus? No. He has to pay a lot of money, and he may be forced to marry her. But it's not loike. So therefore, how can you learn from the forced marriage? I wouldn't have learned automatically from Motzi Shemra to oines. So I would say no. Motzi Shemra, he is attracting all the chumras in the world. Also loike, also meshalem, hoichet misken, another tzara. He has to marry her for life. Yeah, mashenkin ba oines, maybe not. Oines lo metzinu so many chumras, so maybe there's no forced marriage either for life. Lo yuchel l'shalcha. So why are you telling me I could have learned it b'kal v'chomer? Ela. Therefore, the Gemara is suggesting another connection between Motzi Shemra and oines. And by the way, and if we don't learn from Motzi Shemra to oines, then your entire sandcastle is falling apart. Because now back to square one, oines, we have to write in oines locally that there is lo yuchel l'shalcha and lo yiteh l'isha kol yomov. And therefore we don't have the extra luxury to make the twist. That's a regular assay followed by lo assay, and therefore there should be malchus. That's a whole chadganya. Okay. Hey, the Gemara says there's another solution. The Gemara now offers another solution to the problem. Again, what the problem? Let's recap. Let's regroup. Let's keep our eyes on the ball. We're asking one question consistently. The Gemara came early in the stage of the sugya. In the early stage of the sugya, we decided, and that's Baruch Hashem. At least that's easy. The odd one out is oines. Really, when the Torah says do this, right, and don't do the opposite, yeah, go away from Beis Hamikdash, you tome, and don't come in. The normal thing is to give malchus. That's normal. Oines is exception to the rule. Oines, do marry her for life and don't divorce her. And yet, if you did divorce her, we don't give you malchus. We just say, okay, shefer lekwiti, just remarry 10 times, remarry. Okay. The question is, why is oines the yotzei min haklal? Why by oines the Torah gave us an exception to the rule? That's a question. We failed with one answer. We're now looking for the other one. Omar Ela. So now let's find another answer. It's the other way around. Lo yoimar lo itil isha b'motzei shemra. Switch it. Turn it around. Lo yoimar lo itil isha. Don't say lo itil isha b'motzei shemra. V'ligma b'oines. Right? When it comes to Motzei Shemra, the Torah could have saved many words. Don't tell me b'motzei shemra that he has to marry her for life. You can learn it from oines. Why? Uma oines she'eino lo yikeh meshalem. Oh, what we said now. Oines is much more lenient. He doesn't get malchus and teshlumin for just raping. He gets teshlumin. And yet, and the Torah is telling me, lo yiteh leisha, you have to marry her for life, baby. Motzei Shemra, l'kol sheken. Motzei Shemra, all the more so. Why did the Torah tell me, but Motzei Shemra, he has to marry her for life? Well, or to stay married for her. Stay married to her for life. It's redundant. We're playing exactly the same game, but the other way around. You gave the milk to the neighbors, they don't need the milk either, they boomerang it back to you, which means, it's a very interesting, it's a double imenu inyan. The Torah did not have to tell me anything of, but the whole story of him, the Motzei Shemra, having to stay with her for life, that's not a chiddush. I would have known that kal v'chomer from oines, because Motzei Shemra has all these chumras. Of course he would stay for life. So why does it say? So there's an extra information there by Motzei Shemra. Thank you. it takes it back to oines. Now by oines, I know by oines that you don't divorce or marry for life. It's kilo written in oines twice. It kilo boomeranged back from Motzi Shemra. That's what we're looking for all the time. Exactly. It's as if oines is written twice to tell me what? To tell me that although it says marry and don't divorce, Kilu it says don't divorce, and if you did, you marry. We switched it, and that's exactly what you're saying. Don't divorce, and if you did, no lashes. We just gently tell you, I mean, under force of Beis Din, that you have to marry again. Very nice. Now, okay, we'll stop here, although it's quite in the middle, but yeah. I'll hear questions now. First of all, thank you to everybody on Torah anytime that listens to us. So many people. Baruch Hashem, more and more views. Thank you to people on YouTube who watch us, and thank you to all of you. Questions and comments are more than welcome right now. I'll let you know about tomorrow. Please stay tuned. Phone, email, WhatsApp, whatever. I'll let you know about. I don't have your WhatsApp sectionally. About what? About tomorrow. So I hope there will be. I don't know. I don't know. Leave it besofek. I know that I don't know. That's a lot nowadays. Nowadays we don't know from one day to the other. We don't know what's happening. Yes. It's a good thing. Bezos Hashem. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Saying, what if you had a phone hang